Welcome to Power Rankings, presented by the long-lasting power of Energizers.
Still going.
To my left, the man who authors the Power Rankings every single week. You see posted at NFL.com. And the reason we are here today for the next hour or so, DanHanzus, the man who coined the term Cyber Monday. Cha-ching!
I love that.
All right, Zeuser.
Also,
we had
information superhighway. That was also me.
Exactly right. It's remarkable, the amount of the true polymath. I am in his presence, and we are all blessed for it. You, virtually, me, physically. Here we go. Number one stays the same. Packers get a Sunday Night Football victory over the Bears. Meanwhile, we got movement inside the top three as the Cardinals have shifted to number 3, down 1, but in the playoff picture, more importantly, they have also shifted to the number 3 slot. They no longer have that first-round bye. They are behind the Bucs and the Packers in the NFC playoff picture. Dan, let's get into it with these Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, and it's, as we always say, it is not the power standings, it's power rankings. But in this case, it really did sync up that way because I think the Cardinals in a big spot at home where they've now had trouble, which is strange.
All three of their losses
have been in Glendale. They just didn't play their best brand of football, and I think it was a bit of a warning sign when you look ahead to what's to come, because I thought it was interesting, and we're going to get to the Rams, but on a day where the Rams had so many of their stars step up, the Cardinals, they got a huge performance from James Conner, who's been a revelation for them. A.J. Green has been really good for them, but Kyler Murray, that was not his best game. What happened with the interceptions, he almost threw a couple more. The play at the end where he didn't spike the ball, didn't clock it, that kind of took them out of any chance. And then DeAndre Hopkins, he's your big number one receiver, has a big drop, is kind of negated on a day where Jalen Ramsey isn't even on the field. So I just thought it was a deeply disappointing performance. The defense, too, Money. Where was the game-changing play as Stafford went up and down the field?
Yeah, so for me, unfortunately for the Cardinals and all the Cardinal fans, this is going to help the naysayers, right? Because it really reinforces what their issues are with this team. One, is Kyler Murray too small to play the position? He gets a ball tipped at the line of scrimmage. I say that had nothing to do with it. That's just a brilliant play by Aaron Donald. I can't tell you how many times I've heard coaches say, I need defensive linemen that are smart enough to know if you can't get to the quarterback, get those hands up in the air. And Aaron Donald did that. It was a great play. Now, the second interception, maybe something to that. Just you're trying to layer a throw, and it's hard to get it over the long reach of Leonard Floyd. But then the second part of the naysayers when it comes to the Cardinals, Dan, is Cliff Kingsbury. Can he manage a game? And I think you point to the way he managed the final 6 minutes, needing 10 points. Should he have kicked the field goal? I don't necessarily agree with that. I'm fine with him going for it. I just don't understand going for it with a play that has not worked all game, and it is probably the weakest point of your offense, and that's running between the tackles with James Conner. It had not worked all game, and it certainly did not work there in a pivotal moment. So to me, look, if there's that many people complaining about these two things the Cardinals have going, and it's what let them down in a playoff atmosphere, then I think you do have to be concerned moving forward as the postseason comes closer.
Yeah, I'm not in a panic mode. And remember, they're undefeated on the road, too.
Right.
So this team has been excellent all season. But this is the first time where, like you're saying, there have been some people, and I guess to a certain extent I'm included, that have had some doubts, some reservations. And Cliff Kingsbury is another guy that was very much under the microscope entering this season. You haven't heard any of that. But in this big crucible moment of the season, to see them come up small there, it just makes you think.
Yet they still had a chance to win. So let's shift to all the stuff that the Rams did right. Because, look, a lot of this isn't the Cardinals were terrible. They were still, the game was in the balance in the final minute, but the Rams were exceptional in this game. This was the Rams that we thought, we were going to see the whole season. Instead, we had this middle section where they hit this lull, and they were certainly back.
Right, and I just want to say, do you remember when, all the conversation was the Rams are too soft, the Rams aren't physical enough, the Rams aren't this, the Rams aren't that.
And I think that was fair.
And I'm saying, yes, in those games, maybe their opponent played a better brand of football, but also almost every team, especially this season, will have a lull. And it's they're not as good maybe as they were on Monday night, though they weren't as bad when they were slumping either. But on balance, I think this is absolutely an NFC contender. And the thing that really stood out to me, like I was saying, the Cardinals did not get big-time performances from all their best stars. But the Rams, the opposite. Without Jalen Ramsey, you had Matthew Stafford playing his best game. Cooper Kupp, again, out of control. Aaron Donald was everything everyone's ever said about Aaron Donald, just a guy that takes over a game. And even Odell Beckham, a guy that I've had doubts about because his career arc is not too impressive for 4 or 5 years. he is now looking comfortable in that offense and making plays.
Yeah, look, 3 touchdowns in 4 weeks. He had 0 in 8 weeks with the Browns. So there's some comfort that's now gained, or at least some chemistry that's being gained between he and Stafford. To me, I do think they deserved the incoming. I thought they weren't a physical team. They were getting pushed around in those losses. Matt Stafford was not playing well, and that's a lot because, and a lot of that is because the offense wasn't being run efficiently. This is a run-first offense. This is a wide zone offense, and all of the passes come off of the success of the run. They got back to that last week, and even though the numbers weren't eye-popping and Matthew Stafford had an exceptional game, I think the reason for his success is they started with that run, and Sony Michel was running hard, and they were able to establish that and at least have some tape for Cliff Kingsbury and Vance Joseph to look at to say, okay, we have got to stop the run. That's the path. Because, look, the first time these two teams met, what happened? 200-plus rushing yards for the Cardinals, 2 touchdowns on the ground for James Conner. They pushed them around. They got after it. And in this game, I think, and that's what makes division games so fun. It's why this is the best sport out there, because these teams make their adjustments. They right the wrongs from the first meeting. It's why you so rarely see a team sweep another opponent in their division. And It really was just an awesome game played by the Rams and reinforces a lot of the belief we have in that roster.
And Stafford, not to belabor it, but he was unbelievable in this game. This is the guy.
It's exceptional.
That when they did the Cabo meeting and dreamt this all up, this was the guy that Sean McVay was hoping would show up in December in a huge spot. And as long as they keep him healthy and upright, that's the big difference here between this year and last year.
And they were down their center and their right tackle, and they were still able to keep him upright. And by the way, that just Cardinals pass rush has disappeared. They've got to rediscover that before the playoffs.
And money, as 240-something bros.
Yeah.
That left tackle, Andrew Whitworth, is 40 years old and doing the job still. That a very
and
interesting
happy belated
team.
Birthday. Here is our NFC playoff picture right now. You see it. The Rams pretty much locked into that. Well, they would have been locked into that top wild card spot had they lost, and the Cardinals would have locked up the division. Now you could argue division is up for grabs. It is in play. So the Rams, as it stands right now, though, the way the schedule shakes out, it looks like they're probably going to find themselves in that top wild card spot, taking on the Cowboys, and more on that, by the way, in our very
only one game out in that
segment.
division.
Exactly right. So let's get to the number 1 team, and the Packers, who took care of business on Sunday night against the Bears.
Yeah, and don't you get the feeling like the Packers now are different than the Packers of even a month ago, because now Aaron Rodgers is playing at that peak level once again. And when you combine Rodgers doing what he's doing now, I mean, these throws, if you want to see football played at its highest level at the quarterback position, you want to leave out everything off the field, which I know can sometimes be hard to do because he's a frustrating guy in some levels. But as a football player, he is pure brilliance. And the way he could just pick apart a team with throws like that, it makes them, to me, the best team in the league, because they have a very good defense and they have an offense that is absolutely elite. And when you put those things together and you know the best quarterback in the league is leading that offense with a team with a great home field advantage, add it all up, that is the best team in football, and that's why they're number 1.
Yeah, I guess for me, it's not fair to the Packers, but I just can't shake the loss against the loss at Lambeau in the NFC Championship to the Bucs last year, and getting throttled by the 49ers the season before. It's just, I don't know why. When I think of them versus the Bucs, I still like the Bucs, even though they currently have home field. The way their schedule shakes out, they go to the Ravens, who are a shell of what they thought they were going to be, what we thought they were going to be this season. They get their 2 toughest games at home, the Vikings and the Browns, and then they'll finish up at Detroit. So I do like them to stay in that one hole, but they showed us last year, doesn't matter. They lost to a team from Florida, from Tampa, Florida, in the NFC Championship. To me, it's splitting hairs. You want to take the Pack, fine. I'll take the Bucs. They're very, very close.
You know who I like in this offense? A.J. Dillon. He does bring that physical presence, and I think it's been very, very interesting how they're using Dillon and A.J. Jones, because Aaron Jones, I think they really complement each other beautifully. And when they do need somebody to grind it in there, play that ground and pound game and wear teams out, they absolutely have that guy now. He's a big factor for them as well.
All right, let's get to your second quadrant. Chargers there at number 9 after a big victory over the Giants. The Bills lose in overtime and slide 3 spots to 10. That's back-to-back losses. They are now out of the playoff picture as it stands today. Going to get to just about every single team you see on this list. But you know what? We have got Thursday night football, and it is going to kick off right next door at SoFi Stadium. A huge AFC West matchup between the Chiefs and the Chargers. Chiefs win, pretty much wrap up the AFC West. The Chargers win, and they will take over first place and have swept the season series against the Chiefs. You'll catch it all here on NFL Network, Fox, and streaming on Amazon Prime Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. So let's get to it. Let's just focus on these two teams and this matchup, Dan. Wow. You have the Chiefs at 4, the Chargers at 9.
That's an easy one to sell.
Sure
everything
is.
Just and I just real quick, like as the voice of the Chargers, do you get more nervous for a bigger game for the team, or is it all the same for the voice?
It's all the same. I'm just happy. The Chargers have gone to Kansas City, like in each of the last 3 years for Thursday Night Football. So I'm just happy that it's here.
Yeah.
And at least maybe that helps balance the scales a little bit when it comes to these two teams doing battle. Look, both of them are playing really good football right now.
That's where I'm at. I feel the Chargers are a team that has kind of like driven me crazy this year because they've had stretches where it's like, okay, this is a real contender, and then they'll falter, and you're like, can we trust you? And I know it's just the Giants, but I thought it was notable that they did what the Colts have been doing all season, which is, okay, we're better than you. We're just going to beat the hell out of you and keep moving on and stack wins. And the Chiefs on the other side of things, I'm not saying their offense is fixed after what they did to the Raiders on Sunday. I know they nearly put up a 50-burger, but they didn't even have 400 yards of total offense. Some of it was a little bit misleading, but at the same time, it was undeniably a positive jump for their offense.
Sure.
So these two teams are meeting each other, both feeling really good about themselves. So just pile on the reasons for excitement for them.
Yeah, I guess the one thing about the Chargers got the Giants at the right time, give them a little bit more confidence, feel good about it, winning 2 games in a row after alternating wins and losses for 6 weeks in a row. The Chiefs end up getting the Raiders. Here's the thing about the Chiefs that I think you have to exercise some caution. You said it when it comes to their offensive numbers, that they are a little bit misleading with that 40-burger. Look at this. On their 6-game win streak, numbers against the Raiders.
Wow.
45 per game, 444 per game. You see the giveaways. Look at Mahomes, though. Touchdown to interception, 7-0 with a passer rating of 132.9. Those other 4 games, when those defenses are playing too high and they've kind of established, hey, this is how you have to play defense against the Chiefs, it is incredible. You are talking about 26 fewer points per game, and you see the numbers there. And that's the defense that Brandon Staley is going to deploy. It's a defense that forced him into 4 turnovers in their first meeting in that 3rd week of the season. Now, conversely, there is a Justin Herbert situation where he has been hot and cold as well. Look at this. In their 8 wins, it's been Justin Herbert. 70%, 321, 23 touchdowns to 3 interceptions and a passer rating of 115. In their 5 losses, I mean, again, you're talking 70 fewer yards, 8 interceptions to just 7 touchdowns and a passer rating that is 40 points lower. So this is what we want, right? It's a quarterback matchup.
You know,
it is Herbert versus, I know.
We don't want Chris Jones not to be playing in this game because you want both these teams at their top power. Chris Jones, the great defensive lineman for the Chiefs, moved into COVID-19 protocol on Tuesday. Hopefully he gets out of it in time for that game. But that would be great news for Justin Herbert as well because Jones changes everything.
Completely. Ever since they kicked him inside, I don't know why they tried to play him outside in the first place, but once they returned him to his natural position of defensive tackle, that defense took off. He's been a wrecking machine. And by the way, if you missed it, on Monday, Rashawn Slater, the standout rookie left tackle who has been huge for this Chargers offense, also put into COVID protocol. So hopefully those 2 players will be back because we would love to see these 2 teams at full strength for that Thursday night football game that you will see right here.
Stinking
COVID. Although, look,
it's brutal.
Happened last night in Monday Night Football with Jalen Ramsey, and they were able to get over that. So how about them Cowboys? Should Dallas feel secure sitting in that 7-hole? We make sense of the at times nonsensical with a heaping helping of math. Cynthia Freeland finds her way to our forum next.
got to win every time we step on the field.
Anything that moves between these lines got to get dealt with.
110% every trip.
After y'all keep that camera rolling, I'm telling you, it's going to be a show today. Yeah, let's go! That's us. Everybody, let's go! I want you to just cut loose and play, man. Hey, Brad, I need some help over here. What's the big man over here? Look at me. We got 9 minutes. We got enough time in this game.
Hawk Bashaud Perriman, touchdown Tampa Bay. Fox ran in overtime. Perriman.
And we have arrived at Power Moves, presented by the long-lasting power of Energizer. She is the premier predictive analyst in all the land, pushing her palindromes on the people as we try to make sense of what is left of the regular season. Cynthia, I hear you have a little bit of an issue with the Cowboys and their current ranking. Please share with our audience. Spit it out, Smith.
Well, DanHanzus, I'm a little concerned. I think 7 should be reserved for a team that's like absolutely a division winner, and this whole division still has to play each other. They like all have division games left, and you know what happens in these crazy NFC East games? Well, they beat each other up, and I've seen this offense struggle at times, especially in the run game, and if they're not going to have all of their pieces healthy and capable, I think their defense is good, but I don't know if it's kind of as good as it was in the start of the season or as bad as it got in the middle of the season. I think it's kind of like in the middle defense, but the offense really needs to step up. So 7, that's a little high, my friend.
All right, well.
Little rich, huh? Little rich.
I will agree with you that this is a spot that maybe should be reserved for a division winner. And that's why the Cowboys are there, because they're winning the NFC East. I mean, they just beat Washington. That was Washington's real chance to me, I think, to make that interesting. Dallas is 9-4. And while the offense... Yeah, the offense is a little bit of a mystery here. It's been disappointing. It's been a little wonky. The Zeke thing is legit. Dak struggles at this point or something to really keep an eye on. But that defense is what won that game, and that's really been a great group for them. Randy Gregory being back, he made an instant impact. DeMarcus Lawrence, Trey Diggs, and, of course, Micah Parsons. Those guys are carrying this team. So as the Dallas offense tries to figure things out, I feel confident that the defense will allow them to win the games, to get to, 11 wins or so and win that division and move on to January football.
So I agree with you, Dan, and I agree with you, Cynthia. I'm going to toe the middle line here. I don't like 7 because 7 suggests what? You're in the top 8, which means you find your way to the divisional round.
It doesn't just suggest you're in the top 8.
It says
you are in the top 8.
Well, no, I mean in the playoffs, that you are part of the divisional round, and that to me is not where I don't like their matchup in any of those wild card contests. It looks, look, this is trending toward what? Rams versus Cowboys in the wild card round, and who do we believe in more as it is currently today on December 14th, Dan?
I don't know.
Believe in the Rams more than the Cowboys at this point. I think, right? There we go. See, I'm with you, Cynthia. Cowboys win the division as the 4 seed. They play the number 1 wild card, and they lose. That playoff game is where I'm going.
Well, I guess the reason I hesitate is they're right next to each other, and my power rankings this week, they're very close, I think.
Flip them. That's what I would do.
You think they should be flipped?
I would flip them.
Cowboys ahead of the Rams.
Are the Rams?
I got the Rams ahead of the Cowboys. You're feeling good about my pick now.
Now I'm confused. I've ruined this segment completely. Save me, Cynthia. Where else would you like to attack Dan?
Well, I'm looking here at the Titans, and I think 12 might be a little low. This is a team that is getting healthier kind of week by week. We saw the return of Julio Jones, and then maybe Derrick Henry's on the horizon. They're in a division with 2 teams that are not so good, the Jags and the Texans. So when I look at this one, I think they're too low at number 12 because their defense is awesome. By the way, they kind of stole Zach Cunningham, and we haven't really talked about that enough, nationally, who's an awesome linebacker. So the best part of their team got even better, and they're in a division with 2 teams that are very beatable. So too low, my friend, too low.
I'm with you, Cynthia. The Titans are a team that could be a real AFC contender still. I just think where we are right now, and we do, and I was on the Pat McAfee show last week, and Pat had asked the process I call it process because it sounds smarter, of putting together the power rankings. And most of it is where we are right now. But I do take a peek ahead also, and I try to figure out, like, where is this team in the big picture as well. I think the Titans in the big picture are in a pretty good spot because, yes, it sounds like Henry will be back maybe as early as Week 18, and A.J. Brown's on the horizon, and Julio Jones is now back, and these things are all going to happen, and I think when it does, the Titans are a team I see as a Super Bowl contender. But in the here and now, they're still vulnerable, and a shutout win over the Jaguars isn't going to get me shooting them into the top 10.
So
Not going to do it.
I, too, was on the Pat McAfee show with Evan and Boston Connor and Diggs and all those guys, and we appreciate every last one of them. And I'm just going to take you to task on what you just said. It's where we are right now. Right now, the Titans are at the top. I mean, not all the way at the top, but they're second in the AFC playoff picture. The Bills aren't in the playoffs right now, today, Week 15, and you have them 2 spots ahead of the Titans. And they're not in the tournament because they've not been able to win games. At least the Titans are winning games. And I think, Cynthia, it's what, look, we're hearing that Derrick Henry could be back for the regular season and be back for the playoffs. Man, that changes everything.
But that's
for this time.
then. That's then.
Okay,
this is now.
so right now, they're the number 2 seed in the AFC. Right now. This moment, December 15th.
Neutral
14th.
field, Bills, Titans right now. Who do you got?
Well, the Bills aren't even there. They don't show up because they've lost too many games. They're out of the playoffs.
That's not what I asked. Neutral field.
Neutral. How's Josh Allen's foot?
It's great. All right. All right. You know how it works, Cindy, with the number 13 team.
Pat McAfee show.
I freak out.
How
Yes,
dare you.
money was on first.
That's
he just
right.
wants everyone to know that was the first choice, and then they went to Zeuser. The Bengals, number 13. 13's the spot where I don't know what to make of a team. Help me through your machine with the blinking red eye. Do you believe in the Bengals? Should they be higher or lower? Is this about right?
Well, I would just like to first point out that I've never been on the Pat McAfee show, which is maybe why he got all that money, because he had the 2 actual smart people on his show. So there's that. But I think that the Bengals are trending up. And I think you're going to see that start against the Broncos. They also got a big help out by an interesting loss by the Ravens to the Browns to kind of keep everything very interesting. So I think that we see going forward, this offense is actually like very, very, like they found a lot of different ways to make it happen against the Niners. It's kind of a weird loss last week. And their defense has been playing really well up front as well. So I think this is a team that's trending up and easily could, this is a playoff.
They're my pick for the winner of the AFC North. Where do you come down on that money?
That's what I said 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
That's where I come down on it 2 weeks ago.
When you were on the Pat McAfee show?
Cynthia was not dealing in self-deprecation there. That was facetiousness.
Yes.
That's what that was.
That was
he put the 2 smart people on. That was sarcasm.
The
is what it
lady
was.
with the art and math.
I won't stand for it.
The money speaks for itself. He had you guys on, he makes a boatload of money. I'm not on, he makes a boatload of money. There.
Listen, hey, congratulations to all of them. And Cynthia, if you want, Dan can't do it, but I'll make a call. If you want, I'll make a call. We'll put that together. All right, here we go to the third quadrant. 17 through 24.
Let's go, Vikings.
Some periphery playoff potential participants. Vikings, Eagles, Washington football teams in the playoff picture as it stands right now are the Seahawks making a push. We have got so much to get to on the remainder of this hour-long power ranking special. And when we return, what do we got, Dan? We've got push from those that played the game. DC and Mooch ply their wares and make their case for the path not taken by DanHanzus.
You never played the game. Sit down and shut up.
Back here on Power Rankings, presented by the long-lasting power of Energizer. Look at this. 25 through 32. Oh, things are ugly in Jacksonville.
It's dark down here.
And lucky you, 2-11 teams will be doing battle head-to-head this week to settle once and for all. Which one of them is number 31 moving forward in the Power Rankings? We got a heck of a week ahead. Week 15 kicks off Thursday. One of the best Thursday night football games we've seen in a long time. How about Chiefs-Chargers? That's here on NFL Network, Fox, and streaming on Prime Video. Then Saturday, NFL Network exclusive doubleheader, 4:30, Raiders-Browns, followed by Patriots-Colts at 8:15 Eastern. And again, you can see those games exclusively on NFL
Money might be
Network.
Playing for the Browns by the time we get to that game.
Yes, a lot of COVID concerns for the Browns to keep an eye on. We saw it last night. But listen, we're tired of putting the topics on the table. Let's lean on some of the other folks around here at NFL Network to do the heavy lifting for us. Player pushback time.
Thanks, Money. So, Mooch, you and I have looked at this list, and we have some thoughts. What stood out to you?
How about this thought, okay? How about the Indianapolis Colts? They're sitting home on the couch, eating nachos,
doing
watching
nothing.
games. They had a bye week, okay? And they went from from 9th seed to 6th seed.
Jumped 3 spots.
Because teams are losing. And this team started off 0-3. Carson Wentz, he had an ankle, he was sick, and all of a sudden, and that guy didn't score any touchdowns the first 3 games. Now he's got 18 touchdowns since then. Jonathan Taylor, and this team right now at 7-6 is going to host the New England Patriots, who is the #1 seed. Big game, but the Colts right now are a scary team. They play great defense, and they can run the football.
And the Colts know who they are, and the identity is crucial. Running the football, playing good defense, I like that a lot. I also like the Broncos. They do the same thing. The Broncos, to me, are a team that you don't want to play. Vic Fangio, very well coached on defense. They're able to run the football as well, straight ahead. Melvin Gordon's having a great year. And then Teddy Bridgewater will sling it around. He can move a little bit, and he's got some nice playmakers on the outside. And this team will ruin your Christmas. So be careful playing the Broncos in December. The other team I like that I don't think's getting enough credit still is your ex-49ers. Those guys. Look at them. You got Kittle pounding the rock, catching it down the field. They basically blew the Bengals out on the road until Cincinnati makes some big plays later on. But I like what they're doing with Kittle. I like what they do in the run game. I like their defense also. They're starting to figure it out. D'Amico Ryans, that guy, Bosa's starting to heat up a little bit. This team is very scary, very dangerous. I think they're going to climb up a little bit. So that's how we see it, okay? We'll see what happens next week for the list, okay? The all-important list. It's very important. I know you love it at home. But catch us weekdays on Total Access. Money and DanHanzus, back to you guys.
Again, sarcasm permeates Power Rankings. No respect.
It's very important that you people like it at home.
That's right.
We get it, Dave.
Looking all good up there with your fancy suit and your
Mr.
perfect
Handsome,
hair.
Mr. #1.
Looking face. Must be nice. To the Colts. You heard Mooch say it. They're sitting on the couch. Maybe they're eating nachos. Maybe they're not. But they end up working their way back into the playoff picture, and they end up working their way up the DanHanzus, the DanZeus Power Rankings, more importantly.
Yes, and yet, as much as I like the potential of this team, it's time for us to see them truly make a play and make their move and say, we are a Super Bowl contender. And just as luck would have it, look at us. We have home against the Patriots in primetime, and then Christmas night at Arizona. So we're going to know a lot about the Colts after these next 2 weeks. And the other part of it is, if they ever kind of showed up in a big spot and won these games, and then even if they win one of these games, the schedule softens up in the final weeks, and they have a chance to steal that division. That is still in play for the Colts.
100% agree. Now, look, we often hear the term styles make the fight. So you've got both teams coming off a bye.
Oh, yeah.
They're even there. You got both teams that maybe were counted out a little bit before the season started, and now they are two of the hottest teams in football. Now, I could throw these numbers at you straight out the gate, but oftentimes we are a society that likes to digest things through pictures and through video.
Like a USA Today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So please, stare at this image as I read these numbers to you to help make sense of the Colts and the Patriots. Yards per game passing offense, Colts 216, Patriots 223. Yards per game rushing offense, 150 to 123. And the turnover differential, the most important thing, these are two teams plus 13 for the Colts, plus 10 for the Patriots. They play defense. They run the ball. They do not want to put that football in peril on offense. I'm not saying they don't trust their quarterbacks. They would just prefer their quarterbacks not do any of the heavy lifting. So defense, force turnovers, run the heck out of the ball. That snowstorm was perfect for the Patriots against the Bills because it's what they wanted to do anyway. But guess what? It's what the Colts want to do as well.
And I don't want things to be set up perfectly for the Patriots every week. I want the Patriots to show us that they can win in imperfect scenarios, that the
100%.
rookie quarterback in a big spot can make big throws when they need to move the chains when it matters. We didn't see any of that against the Bills. It wasn't the Patriots' fault, but I still would like to see it.
Opportunistic defense against a rookie quarterback who has not been asked to do a whole lot in a playoff atmosphere is going to be awesome, and you are going to see it right here. Going to be fantastic on NFL Network. All right, we still have plenty of show to come ahead. A segment surrounding the number 6. We got 5 6-win teams fighting for one spot in the NFC playoff picture and 6 6-loss teams tussling for 2 AFC postseason slots. We will share which ones we say will secure those spots next. All right, back here on Power Rankings, presented by the long-lasting power of Energizer, and a shout-out to Twitterer Greg, or David. I think his name's David. Corrections and retractions on me. I'm an old dog. It's hard to teach me new tricks. 7 playoff spots. And I was wrong on the tiebreaker. The Bills are in the playoff picture when I was attacking you in that last segment with Cynthia Freeland saying they're not even in the playoffs. Well, of course they are, because there's 7 teams in the playoffs,
I
not
knew
6.
it the whole time, and I just let you. I gave you the rope.
You hung me out to dry. Just made a fool of myself. So let's get into pick 6 here. Dan, it is incredible. Look at this. You have got all of these teams with 6 losses. Colts, Bills, Browns, Bengals, Broncos, Steelers. Currently, the Colts the 6th seed, the Bills the 7th seed. But every one of the teams on this list has the same number of losses and are fighting for those final 2 wild card spots. Let's start with those Bills that I just discussed. My bad. I apologize, Bills Mafia and the Bills players. You are in the postseason as it stands right now, but why will they stay there? Why are they going to stay in the postseason?
Did you know, Money, that there's only 6 teams in the whole league that aren't within a game of the playoffs or in position right now? That's where we're at. As far as the Bills, I like the Bills' chances here. I understand they're on a slide here. I understand they didn't get the job done in Tampa. They didn't get the job done against Buffalo. But what you saw from Josh Allen there in the second half was a reminder of what they're able to do when things click. And I'm not saying the light's going to turn on and they're going to become the Super Bowl favorite we all expected, but you look at their schedule, home Carolina, at New England, that's a toughie, but not out of the question they can win it. Home Atlanta, home Jets. They could win 3 of 4 or even all 4 and go into the playoffs on high and be a very dangerous team.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree. I'm going to go to the Browns.
All right.
So, obviously, things are developing with the Browns, and there are a ton of COVID concerns surrounding that team. So, it is something to keep an eye on. That can change dramatically. But one of the reasons why a name that is not on that list as it stands right now is Myles Garrett. And look, this is a true game wrecker. This is a difference maker, much like Aaron Donald, essentially is the straw that stirs the drink that is the Rams defense. Myles Garrett is that for the Browns. And as a single player, he can totally change fortunes. You saw him do it against the Ravens. We've seen it do it all year, 15-plus sacks, creates turnovers. And that's what I'm going to lean on. You mentioned the schedule. They got the Raiders. Yeah, they got at the Packers. But after that, they're at the Steelers. They get the Bengals at home. I think that's going to be a meaningful Week 18. And I think if they're healthy, and that sounds so stupid considering what we're facing today with all the news, if they can stay healthy, I think it's the best roster, which is why I think typically that's what ends up winning out over the course of these 4 games: Raiders, Packers, Steelers, and Bengals. All right, let's get to, and by the way, the AFC playoff picture, you said it. This is what the NFL wanted. You had that extra playoff spot, and now you've got this many teams. I mean, 5 and 6 in each of the conferences that are still in play with 4 games to play. All right, so let's go to the 6-win NFC teams. That's right. 6 losses, so 7 and 6 in the case of the Steelers, 6, 6-1. These are 6 and 7 teams.
Okay.
Currently, the Washington football team has the 7th and final spot. Just behind them, the Vikings, Eagles, Falcons, and Saints. They are all 6 and 7. Dan, make a case for the number 8 team, the Vikings.
All right. I'm going to make a case because their ceiling is like the top floor of a skyscraper.
Okay.
I would use a Minnesota skyscraper, but I don't know the name of one.
And maybe U.S. Bank. I mean, they're pretty popular there.
Okay, and then the floor is the basement of the Alamo. So that's where we're at here.
See what you did there.
You don't know what they're going to do week to week, but we've seen it. We've seen their. I mean, they already beat the Packers, okay, and they already lost to the Lions. But I thought Dalvin Cook's return to the lineup. He gets carded one week, runs for 200 yards the next week. Adding him back into the mix makes their offense go. And even on a bad Kirk Cousins night, they found a way to win that game. So I think the Vikings, and it's also fun. I think it's just fun that the Vikings, you could always count on them to give you entertainment every week. Let's get them into the playoffs. Well, where they're going to inevitably crumble in sadness. But once we get there, we'll get to that. I think they're a playoff team. I still do. How about the Eagles, Money?
Well, look, we often use analogies, right? If you're building a house, if it's got a basement, you're on a foundation, you pour footings, and, you hope that that foundation is sound. Now, if it doesn't have a basement, it's on a slab. It's just a solid piece of concrete. What is the foundation for the Eagles' home? We don't know, and that's where this gets tricky. But if Jalen Hurts is healthy, the way they run the ball, the style of offense that they play is tricky for teams to defend. And I know Gardner Minshew is out there doing his thing, but this is the way that Nick Sirianni wants to play, with Jalen Hurts running the ball, with those running backs running the ball, forcing you to defend 11 players on that side of the ball, as opposed to giving yourself a free defender because you don't have to count for the quarterback, doing exactly what we're watching Jalen Hurts do. I like their schedule as well. Washington twice. They are decimated by injury. We know the Giants are a complete mess.
Yep.
And then, what did we have last year? And what are we going to get this year again?
Look at that.
It's going to come down to Week 18. I firmly believe that. I've got faith that these Eagles can make a mess of the NFC East again, because it's just the way it has to be. That's the way this has to work with the Cowboys, the Eagles, the Giants, and the Washington football team. They hate each other so much. It's got to come down to Week 18.
We talked about it. I am not on board that this is going to go the same way. I think this is the Cowboys division. But the Eagles are very interesting. And one thing to keep an eye on here is, before the bye, the Gardner Minshew performance against the Jets. That puts heat on Jalen Hurts, and I think Jalen Hurts knows that. And if Jalen Hurts doesn't play good this week, we're going to hear a lot of Minshew talk in the media, and it's going to magnify, and it could cause trouble for the Eagles, because I think the right move is to stick with Hurts, but Minshew put the thought in a lot of
that Jets team is terrible.
Brutal, but
it's terrible. So love that Minshew's, and look, this is what a backup's supposed to do.
Right.
You have a quarterback go down for a quarter, maybe a half, maybe a game, and you want your backup to be able to win you that game. They are not there to be a long-term solution to ascend to the starter and carry you for an entire season, and then they get a long-term contract, and oh my goodness, he was sitting here the whole time. No. Gardner Minshew did exactly what a good backup's supposed to do, and you can earn a great living and have a heck of a career that way.
But Minshew is one of those guys that people really want it
because he's so likable.
Yes. So that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's the move they should be making, but because he's a fan favorite, because he sparks imagination like a Ryan Fitzpatrick, I just think that could have effects on Philly, and not necessarily good effects.
No, I think they are much better off with Jalen Hurts with that running attack. We saw that's when their fortunes flipped, when they started playing football that way, and I suspect they will do that down the stretch with those 2 against Washington, 1 against the Giants. What a great way to end your season, all divisional games.
Never get on a plane either. That's not bad.
How about that?
Yeah.
Not bad. That's a testament to the trains. The old world is how they travel this part of the country.
Bruv.
Stony.
Bruv.
I love Tony. Your rankings are trash, bro.
Bruv?
Is that the new bra?
Bruv? I hope not, because bra is better than bro.
All right, well, we're going to get more of that next.
Where are the youth?
Insults.
Tell
Yes,
us.
DanHanzus on Power Rankings.
Bruv?
Well, you want to play NFL Knockout because it's a free-to-play game presented by Caesars Sportsbook. You answer 15 questions about the Patriots-Colts game, and you could win exclusive prizes, including a VIP package to this year's Super Bowl 56 in Los Angeles. All you got to do is visit NFL.com/knockout.
Nice.
All right. Much like David clowned me earlier, and I'm going to put the nose on because I appreciate that. I'm a man who, when he's wrong, he says he's wrong. So my apologies there, Bills Mafia. You're in the playoff picture as it stands today. But now it's time for you to take on DanHanzus, the old Zeuser, the man that pours his soul into this 1 through 32 week in and week out. We call it constructive criticism, and we start with a man who's got 3 names, Carl James Bueller. Pats need to move up to number 1 in the power rankings pretty soon here as we're forced to be reckoned with in New England. P.S. DanHanzus, officially a Patriots fan, and we all know it.
Do you know how hard it was, Carl James Bueller, to put on a Patriots helmet for that little Spider-Man meme gag we did? That was.
Why'd you say that? You're not supposed to say that's what it is. You're supposed to leave it out there for those that know to know.
Well, I'm sorry.
Those that know.
But I am not a Patriots fan. But the fact that they're so high in the power rankings shows what a professional I am. I think that's the way to look at it.
I grabbed the Colts helmet. That's this guy's doing right here. All right, next bit of constructive criticism.
No clown nose for you.
DanHanzus, Titans at 12. LOL. OL.
Laugh out loud. Laugh out loud.
OL.
Out loud.
Ahead of them is the Colts, whom the Titans beat twice. Fair. As well as the Bills, Rams, Chiefs, also teams the Titans beat. Chiefs, I understand though. But the 49ers ahead? LOL. OL.
Listen,
OL.
I don't want to hand out. I don't want to hand out a clown nose. But you know what? I have to.
That's like a 50-cent first pitch there, bud.
Exactly. Because how many times do I have to tell you it's not the power standings? The Titans that
Those
were
are head-to-heads.
I know those are head-to-heads, but that was then. This is now. The Titans
Just
have
admit
not
they're
been.
too low. Just admit, hey, you know what? The Titans are too low.
The Titans are perfectly where they are, and maybe too high.
They're
Do we have
too
another
low.
one? They might be too high.
Too low. All right. At what point does DanHanzus just pull names out of a hat after assigning the basement teams for power rankings? I wouldn't blame him for doing so. See, now that's and he tagged you around the NFL, friend.
Yeah, don't tag those guys.
Don't be a Twitter snitch,
This
huh?
is a different thing.
Don't do that.
We'll get you that. We'll give you that. No, it is very difficult this season, but I do feel like I have a general handle on the league right now, as hard as it may seem.
You're the only person then. If you think you have a general handle, you're the only person that has that.
From last week to this week, 29 of the 32 teams moved in the order this week. So it's bonkers.
Yeah, would suggest that nobody's got a handle on the league of 29 of 32, except for DanHanzus and his lightning bolt pen and his stone tablet. We have got a couple challenges for the Chargers. They will be playing Thursday Night Football against the Chiefs. Justin Herbert, SoFi Stadium, Patrick Mahomes. Oh, my goodness. Could you get any better?
I want to go to there.
Here on Power Rankings, presented by the long-lasting power of Energizer, we do speed to power. We hit a quartet of teams, a four-pack here in 2 minutes. 4 teams we have not discussed thus far on the program. DanHanzus, are you ready? Can I get a clock? 2 minutes, 4 teams. Are we ready?
Give it to us. There it is.
DanHanzus Raiders.
I think they're cooked. I think they're done. I think they're finished. I thought in the Chiefs game, the first snap of the game from scrimmage, fumbled by Josh Jacobs, run back for a touchdown, and the Raiders didn't even look like they wanted to be there after that. And I just think you take out that Cowboys game on Thanksgiving, which feels like an aberration. This has been one of the worst teams in the AFC for a month now. They haven't been the same since the bye, and I just think they're cooked. I think it's another disappointing season for Vegas. How about the Seattle Seahawks money?
This is a tough one. Seattle's tough one because they get back-to-back wins, one over a very good 49ers team. The Texans are not good, but you got to see some of that Russell Wilson magic. Hey, run the ball. Russell Wilson bails out and throw an incredible shot to Tyler Lockett down the field. It's kind of the old Seahawks that came to work. My problem is they just, look, you got to put wins in that ATM bank, and they didn't do it early enough. They're going to go 2-2 down the stretch, and they're going to miss the playoffs by a game, maybe 2, because they got to go 2 Los Angeles and 2 Arizona, and I don't see them getting wins. All right, you're up. Ravens. No?
Offense.
Yeah, Ravens.
this offense is in trouble. And I know you have the Lamar Jackson issue that complicates it with the ankle, and John Harbaugh is confident, it seems, that he'll be playing on Sunday. But even with Lamar in the lineup, there is just no spark here anymore. And it's so much different than it was earlier in the season when Marquise Brown was having his breakout year and Lamar looked like he was making serious strides as a passer. None of that's happening anymore, and he's not even really running the ball effectively. So whether it's Tyler Huntley or Lamar, I just wonder, Money. Close it out with the Niners.
Yeah. Look, and by the way, this is something that we've been taking the incoming on the Ravens for saying this is going to fall apart, and it's not falling apart. For the 49ers, they figured it out, right? They had a 1-5 stretch. They got back to doing and playing football the way they play football, and that is run the heck out of the ball, lean on one of the best defenders in the league in Nick Bosa. It got them the win this week against a very good Cincinnati Bengals team, and how about a little bit of confidence there for Jimmy G? They're going to get the 10 wins, and they're going to make the postseason.
I'm glad you mentioned Jimmy G there.
Yeah.
Because he really did step up in that game.
We ding him when he performs poorly. You got to tip of the cap there.
Yeah.
Huge power rankings matchups this week. It starts on Thursday right here on NFL Network, on Fox, and streaming on Prime Video, 8 p.m. Eastern. Thursday night, AFC West in the balance, Chiefs and Chargers. We got the doubleheader on Saturday, including the Patriots and the Colts that we discussed earlier. Your beloved Titans.
I don't think they win that game, Money. I don't know, man. I don't know.
What you have against them. All right, real quick, challenge flags. I have managed to give my season tickets to the Chargers to this man right here so he can take his two beautiful boys to see the Chargers-Chiefs on Thursday night. And all I'm asking you, I'm challenging you, stay out of the way.
Yes.
If those young men do not want to be Jets fans because their old man grew up in New York and they didn't, let them embrace the Chargers. Let them embrace Justin Herbert and have themselves a beautiful football life moving forward with the team in town.
And, well, thank you for your help with this. And that's why I came to you, Money, because I want to open it up and give them a chance to be happy the way I was not happy as a child because of the Jets. However, hey, Chargers, that was a good throw. That was a Justin Herbert across the hashes throw. Don't let me down. Please show up.
Me down.
Make Jack and Harry Chargers fans. Why not?
Thanks for watching Power Rankings. We'll be back next week. And Dan's going to a football game.